Hey YouTube, welcome back. I will be talking about part 2 of my first year experience as a TFA core member. And today we'll be talking about something very, very real. Mental, emotional, and physical health as a TFA teacher. And there's so much to say, but I'm going to start off with, it's going to be very real. And I'm going to say a lot of embarrassing things that maybe I haven't told many people, but here it is. I'm going to tell it to the whole world. So let me just give you context, a basic week as a TFA member last year. So Monday through Friday, I wake up at 5 in the morning. I leave my house at 6 a.m. I get to work at around 6:40, 7-ish, depending on traffic. And then I spend 1 hour making copies, getting ready for the day, working on exemplars, analyzing whatever I didn't finish the night before. And that was, and so then I would get out of school, so the last bell rings at 4 p.m. or 3:45. And I remember staying at work until 7 p.m. So from 4 to 7, work, plan, grade, do whatever I need to do, organize, clean the room, blah, 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 blah. So 7 p.m. hits, that's when the janitor kicks us out. I think if the custodian didn't kick us out, we would still be there. I would still be there. I say we because there were a lot of first year teachers that would also stay that late. So I'm not the only one, all right? And so I would get home around 7:30, 7:40, again, depending on traffic. Get home, rest a little bit, maybe eat, maybe shower. And that goes to my embarrassing point in a little bit. Maybe shower, maybe eat. Sometimes I wouldn't eat, sometimes I wouldn't shower. And then at around 9 p.m., I would go back to finishing up my plans. And I always say finish, but things just never end. Like, I don't ever finish. And so from 9 to 11 p.m., I would keep on planning, working. And then from the latest I would sleep would be midnight, but my usual bedtime would be around 11. And then I would just wake up the next morning and do the same thing. So the problem here is that I didn't sleep enough. I would sleep from maybe 4 to 6 hours. I don't ever remember sleeping in, not even on the weekends. So check this out. Saturday, I would spend 5 hours planning, grading, finishing up whatever I need to do, seating charts, blah, blah, blah. Sunday, I would do the same thing, but it would be less. But I also had to take classes at LMU because as a TFA member, you have to go to grad school to get your credential while you teach full-time. Yep, that you heard me. And so I would spend about like 2 or 3 hours on homework because we took 2 classes, my first semester and also my second semester. And I didn't get a lot of sleep. And I remember I would be driving to work and also from work, and this would happen both ways. And I would sleep on the road. Like, I would honestly just be like, oh my God. And so many times, and this happens more often to people than you think. It's not just me, it's also a lot of other people, not just teachers, but also we just overwork ourselves for some reason. But anyways, obviously that's dangerous. I'm surprised, very thankful for God that I did not get into an accident because I was sleeping on the road. And, it comes to this point where, like, I'm sleeping on the road because I'm super tired and also because I'm in traffic. And so there were times where I was like, you know what, I'm just going to use my phone so I can, like, distract myself. And so I was doing 2 illegal things, right? Using my phone while I'm driving, and also I had to choose between using my phone or, like, just letting my eyes close. And so I would tend to just use the phone to distract me, to distract my brain. And that was horrible last year. So that's no sleep, sleeping on the road. And then, like I said, there were times where I would forget to eat. I would forget to shower or maybe I wouldn't shower because sometimes I was like, there's not enough time. I have to save time, blah, blah, blah. And there were times where I would wake up late and I didn't shower the night before, and I was like, no, sorry, I cannot shower. And so I would just like put that dry shampoo so that my hair is not oily, or sometimes I would just put it in a bun, and I wouldn't even think about getting ready like properly if I'm waking up super late. So thankfully I lived at home. So in case you didn't know where I'm at, I'm in LA and I live with my family in LA. I lived, right? And so I didn't have to make food. I would just pack my lunch, whatever my mom left the night before, pack that up, and I didn't have to do any chores at all because one, I didn't have time, and two, because my mom was just awesome like that. And so even though I didn't have to do those tedious chores like cleaning or making food, I still found myself with no time extra at all. Like I still felt like I needed more time. And last but not least, my emotional health. Oh my gosh, emotional health. Now, this is where I learned how my emotions function. It was through this job. Like, I remember reflecting a lot, especially because I was driving, I was, in traffic all the time, so I had so much time to think. And I remember crying every single day, and I'm not even kidding, every single day until November, because I was angry about myself. I was frustrated at my students. I was angry with some of my students. I was upset. I was depressed because I had so much work and I had no time for myself, no time for my family, no time for my friends. And I just felt like my whole life was teaching. My whole life was to serve these students. That's it. And there's nothing beyond that. And that's why I felt so angry at myself all the time. And also, I remember I would yell at students because I felt like for some reason I was taught to think that in order to gain respect from your students, you have to be this authoritative figure and you're supposed to yell at them. You're supposed to, be this intimidating figure for them. And that was emotionally draining because one, that's not who I am. I'm like super chill and I just want to, do what's the right thing and not, be like this angry monster. And I remember every time I yelled at a kid, I cried. Like, not in front of the students. Thankfully, I never reached that point. But I remember every single day, I was just like, oh my gosh, like, why did I yell? And I would just cry and cry because of the guilt that I had. And another thing, like, I hated when students said, and I don't hear it, I've never heard it this year, but last year I heard it so much. And it kept me in check, like, miss, that's not fair, blah, blah, blah. And I hate when they say it's not fair because at my university, I always felt like I had to defend myself when there was an injustice or whatever it may be. And I don't ever want to instill injustice in my own classroom. And so when I heard that, it really hurt me. And I felt frustrated because I was like, I'm not doing anything right. I'm failing all the time. And I never had like a successful day. And I know my coaches would tell me like, oh, you're doing this right, you're doing this right, you're doing this right. But like, honestly, I just felt like I was failing all the fucking time. And that's just how you feel when you're unprepared. And I'm going to talk about all that, being prepared and all that stuff. But it stems from the same fact that that TFA thinks and recruits all these people. They're like, yeah, come to TFA. It doesn't matter what you studied. You'll be fine, you're gonna make a difference. No, fuck that shit. Like, people, TFA core members that did not study to become a teacher, that did not specialize in the subject that they're going to teach are gonna fucking struggle. And they're going to be emotionally drained and mentally drained and they're gonna burn out and they might even quit. They might even just have so much anger and frustration towards this program, towards their own lives. Think about that. Like, if you're not prepared, obviously you're gonna feel this way. That's just my rant. And so I felt all of those things, and I don't even know how I dealt with it. People don't talk about it. Obviously, TFA is not gonna put on their website, discretion. You may be mentally, emotionally damaged because of whatever it may be, teaching or whatever. Like, teaching is fucking difficult. and you need to have thick skin. If you are sensible as fuck and you're not prepared, you didn't study to become a teacher, you don't have that authentic passion, you're gonna fail so many times, and you're going to be emotionally drained 100% of the time your first year. Does it get better second year? Yes, absolutely it does. And I'll talk more about that as well, but save yourself from TFA if you don't have that authentic passion to become a teacher. Because you do not want to go through all that shit. You do not. And again, I was gonna call you class. No. YouTube, thank you so much for watching this, and I hope it gives you like a realistic view of how this impacts your health, how teaching impacts your emotional health, and really take it to heart. Do not just be like, oh, that was just her experience, mine's gonna be different. Honestly, that's how I saw it. Before, when I was applying for TFA, I looked at YouTube videos as well. I did my research as well, and I saw these negative videos, and I told myself, that's not gonna be me. Like, I have a different perspective, I'm more positive, blah, 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 blah. My experience is gonna be different. No, fuck that. Like, your experience is gonna be obviously different, but in the same sense that it's gonna be highly difficult because you're unprepared. That's why it's so fucking difficult. Okay, save yourself. You have to. There's just so much bullshit. Like, I don't even know why this program exists if they're just recruiting people with miscellaneous education and expected to make a difference and prepare them to teach. But anyways, I hope you take this to heart and really think about joining TFA. Don't just do it on a whim. Don't just do it because I'm curious and I want to make a difference. If you want to make a difference, do it somewhere else. Do it somewhere else. You can start off with City Year. City Year is difficult as fuck as well, but City Year is, I could say, like, if you had a choice between City Year and TFA, do City Year. I know it pays less, but it's less emotionally damaging, I could say. Alright, so that is all for you today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe. I'm here to tell you the truth. And if you have a different truth, please leave a comment. If you have a question as well, let's engage. Let's have a sincere dialogue about this program, about your experiences as a teacher. Maybe you're thinking of becoming a teacher. And I'm not exaggerating if you think that's what I'm doing. I'm giving you a realistic view of what happened with me. And this just doesn't happen with me. It happens with a lot of teachers. We had a group of first years at my school and they struggled the same way. Probably different subjects, but in a similar way. So just take it to heart, and I hope to see you guys in my third video, which is going to be about my insecurities coming in as a Spanish teacher. Alright guys, see ya.